Guys, welcome back to She's a Gooner. We've got our UCL draw results. Okay, we know the 8 teams that we're going to be facing in the league phase of the Champions League, and there's a lot of talk around Real Madrid, and people seem to be anxious. Why are we worried? I always forget to say this as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop some comments. Let me know your thoughts on our UCL draw. You know, people talk about Real Madrid. Why are we worried? I'm not worried, guys. We've actually got an immaculate record against Real Madrid in all competitive games. We faced them 4 times competitively. They've never beat us. They've never beat us, and I think 24-25, we have to give ourselves credit. Everyone thought we was going to get absolutely dog walked by Real Madrid. They came to the carpet, came to the Emirates. We slapped them at home, went to the Bernabeu. What did they say? We're going to close the roof. Atmosphere's going to go. They're going to come here. They're not going to know what to do with themselves. And we went there, won, knocked them out of the competition, and went about our day, right? I'm not worried. Real Madrid have never beaten us competitively. So why are we stressed? And clearly they feel like they've had some workings to fix up there because they've really tried to reinforce their back line. They signed 3 defenders. They brought in Cucurella at left back from Chelsea. They've brought in Konate at centre back from Liverpool. They've brought in Dumfries as a right back as well. And, I feel like when you look at the depth of our defence, now, of course, attack is what's going to ultimately win you games. You want to score goals. But when you look at the depth of our defence, you look at our left backs, you've got the options of Calafiori, Hincapié. You look at our centre back options, and they're just unlimited. You've got Gabriel, Saliba. Hincapié can also come in as a centre back. You've got Mosquera. You've now got Ezri Konsa. You've got our right back options. You've got Timber when he's fit. You've got Ben White. Ezri Konsa can also play as a right back. Our defensive depth is stronger than the Great Wall of China. I am not worried about no Mbappe or Bellingham. Not stressed. All right. So yes, we've got Real Madrid at home at the Emirates. They're coming to our house. I feel like that's going to go good for us. But yeah, looking at the draw, I'll be honest, the teams that I'm more worried about are the ones that you wouldn't expect. The Lils, the Napolis, they're the ones that I'm probably going to think might be a little bit of a bogey to us, but we'll see. Obviously, this year in the Champions League, it is going to be very different with the departure of Gabriel Martinelli. Now, it's not been 100% confirmed, but we've seen the post that he's leaving the club. And we all know what he did for us last season in the Champions League. Without him, it's safe to say we would have never got to where we did. We never reached that final without Gabby. So he will dearly be missed. He will dearly be missed. But at the same time, it's football. Players come, you get attached to them, they do a lot for the club, and then it comes to a point where unfortunately you have to say goodbye. So we're wishing Gabby all the best, but we're looking forward to this season in the Champions League. Who knows? We might see him later down the line. We've also got Bayern Munich in the league phase. Now, Bayern knockout phases, they've always kind of got a one-up on us. Last season we played them in the league phase. I was lucky enough to be at the Emirates for that game. We beat them 3-1. Atmosphere was insane. Again, we really showed them that we're forced to be reckoned with. And I think it's safe to say as well, coming into this season, Arsenal are being recognised as a club that people are kind of anxious about playing. You never really know how it's going to go with us. And, like I said, with the back line that we have, it's hard to break through. But I still think we could strengthen our defence. Not our defence, sorry, our attack. We've brought in Solis on the left. You've got Grimaresh in the midfield as well. I really think we need someone else to support Solis on the left, especially if Martinelli will be leaving. I don't want to see Eze on the left. I think he shines his best as a midfielder. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this isn't the talk about that. We're talking about Champions League draw. We've got Dortmund. So we saw Dortmund in our pre-season. Not the best result. I don't really take pre-season results to heart. Honestly, you're never giving it 100%. You're not risking injuries just for a warm-up game. It doesn't make sense. So it wasn't the best result, but again, I'm highly confident. I think going into this, I think we're going to get the points we're going to need. We're going to go straight through to the round of 16. There's not going to be no isms and schisms and shookethness coming from the Gunners. So yeah, I feel quite confident. So just for record's sake, Real Madrid at home, Bayern Munich away, Dortmund at home, Real Betis away, Lille at home, Napoli away, Sabah at home, and Slavia Praha away. Those are the 8 teams that we will be facing in the Champions League. But obviously, outside of us, there are 5 teams in total, including us, that is, in the Champions League from England. Another one being Manchester United. Now, they've missed out on Champions League football for 2 years. they didn't cut the cloth. You know, they just weren't good enough. Finishing 15th, finishing 8th. You know, anyways, they turned last season around and managed to push themselves back up to third place, qualifying them for Champions League after missing out on 2 years. And they're actually playing some of the teams that we faced last season. You know, they're playing Sporting in the league phase. We played Sporting in the quarterfinals. We did great. We beat them, obviously, took them out. We played Atletico in the semi-finals, beat them, which led us to the finals. So they're actually going to be playing these two teams in the league phase. It'll be interesting to see how they do. You know, they've started the season struggling, frankly, walloped by Hull. Not the best way to start the season with a fully fit squad. Carrick Ball was carricking, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, they've got Atletico, Roma, Sporting, RB Leipzig, Villarreal, Sabah, and Como, who we also played in our pre-season friendlies. I was there as well. I believe we drew. I'm sure we drew to them, to Como. But again, who cares about a pre-season result? Like, it's not that deep. Okay. Obviously, Liverpool also playing Atletico, so it'll be interesting to see how they do against them. We did play Inter Milan last season as well, and we absolutely demolished them. So, you know, I think we saw some great football against Inter Milan last season. So it'll be interesting to see how Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool have had a great transfer window. I don't really know what they're going to do this season because they've got a couple days. They've got about a week, I think, left of a transfer window to make something happen. We've not really seen anything from them. But again, I'll go through who they're going to be playing. They've got Atletico Madrid, Inter Milan, Porto, Club Brugge, Villarreal, Fenerbahce, Lens, and Las. Now, I want to see the Fenerbahce game. You know, they're a rowdy lot. They're a rowdy lot, Fenerbahce. They're fans. They've got heart. They've got energy. They're going to be playing Fenerbahce away in Turkey as well. So that'll be an interesting game to see. And then obviously you've got Man City. I personally think Man City, outside of PSG, they've got a bit of an easy run. So they've got PSG at home. You know, they're going to be playing them at the Etihad, so that's in their favour. But I don't think PSG are going to be walking the park. They've got Barcelona away. That's not going to be an easy game. And then they've got Sporting, Porto, Napoli, Leipzig, Athens, and Lens. And personally, I don't really see them struggling. It'll be interesting to see how they take on this Champions League season. Obviously, with Pep leaving, they've got Maresca in. It'll be interesting to see City's development through the league. Villa, I don't even, is there a point in me saying who they're? I think Villa's going to get walloped this Champions League, mate. Seeing how they entered the Prem and just getting absolutely slappity. Is there a point in me? If anyway, they've got PSG at home getting slapped. They've got Barcelona as well away. Slapped. They've got Dortmund. Dortmund's going to whip some backside. Bruges, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Viking, and Slavia Praha. I don't see Aston Villa getting through to the round of 16. I'll be very honest with you. But yeah, let me know in the comments anyway what your thoughts are. Like, I'm not worried. I think Arsenal's going to do great. I think we'll, you know, it's a harder selection of matches as to what we faced last season, possibly. But I'm not worried. You know, I think this season, you know, with the Premier League, we've got something to retain. Champions League wise, we've got something to prove. And we're going to prove it. So yes, subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments, give me a like, show some love. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.